ما عنا حطب، وأنا بابا شهيد. قبل ما يموت كان عنا عطول حطب، كان يدفينا عطول، كنا دفيانين على زمان بابا. بس هلا كل شي خرب، صار بابا بمحل ونحن بمحل. يا عمو نحن شو ذنبنا نبرد؟ هيك الأولاد عندي عندهم أب هيك عايشين ولا مثلنا؟ طيب يا عمو ابنك نام مرة بس مرة بدون أكل هو بردان؟ طبعا لا، شو ذنبنا نحن؟ كل الأولاد اللي عندهم أبهات عطولها بيناموا، عطولها بيناموا دفيانين. على أول بابا ياخدنا منهم.
Well, I think it's still morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning. Sunday morning.
Dennis, hi, everybody. How are you? Good to see you. All right. Okay.
One eternity later.
Here we go. Okay, here we go. You ready? Here we go. Men title. Well, I'm not going to read it all. We'll just sign it. I don't want to tell you all. I only have one pen. I only have one pen.
Targeted attacks on civilian infrastructure with a clear aim to cut off men, women, children of water, electricity and heating with the winter coming, these are acts of pure terror, and we have to call it as such. This is a moment to stay the course, and we will back Ukraine for as long as it takes. And we will protect Europeans from the other war that Putin is waging. This is his war on our energy.
Well, let me try to give an instance of what terrorism is not. In 1944, the British Royal Air Force sets out on a bombing mission. The target is the Gestapo headquarters in Copenhagen. Perfect target. The planes loose the bombs, drop the bombs, and they miss. Instead of the Gestapo headquarters, they hit a children's hospital, and scores of children are horribly killed. This is an accidental, tragic outcome of war. This can happen, but it is not terrorism.
Rocks like this that are thrown at Israelis in their cars and on buses. They are thrown at Israeli men and women, at Israeli babies and children every single day. In 2021 alone, Israelis suffered 1,775 rocket attacks by Palestinian terrorists, but the world says nothing. Members of the Council, would you consider it a terror attack if a rock like this was thrown at your car while driving with your children? This is exactly the kind of attack that claimed the life of 4-year-old Adele Beaton and others. What would you do, honorable delegates?
It's hard to look at what he's doing in Ukraine, what his forces are doing in Ukraine, and think that any ethical, moral individual could justify that. It's difficult to look at the It's difficult to look at some of the images and imagine that any well-thinking, serious, mature leader would do that. So I can't talk to his psychology, but I think we can all speak to his depravity.
This is war. It is combat. It is bloody. It is ugly, and it's going to be messy. And innocent civilians are going to be hurt going forward. I wish I could tell you something different. I wish that that wasn't going to happen, but it is going to happen.
Two former American vessels carrying nearly 4,000 Jewish refugees arrive at the port of Haifa, Palestine. Jammed like cattle on the rustic craft, the fugitives end their bleak voyage, which began at a Black Sea.
And we went from Italy to Palestine. It was not Israel yet. It was Palestine.
Yeah. What? How did you get? You went by boat.
By boat.
It wasn't
We went to Israel.
It's a 15-year-long criminal action. Do we talk about investigating the war crimes of Israel? No. Do we sanction Israel for these crimes as we've sanctioned Russia? No. Instead, we continue to give them favoured trade status, import huge amounts of gas from Israel, deepen the relations, and engage in considerable military and defence trade with the state that is doing this to the Palestinians. I also find it remarkable when we say we must break our dependency on Russian fossil fuels and oil, that at the very same time we increase our imports of Saudi oil. Ironically, Saudi Arabia this year has doubled its imports of Russian oil and is effectively laundering Russian oil, but we are now importing more from the Saudi dictatorship, one of the most brutal dictatorships in the world, that just like Vladimir Putin has engaged in a 15-year-long war against the people of Yemen that has claimed the lives of tens of thousands of people. And leading European states continue to arm that regime. Indeed, you yourself in 2015 went over and signed a defence arrangement with Saudi Arabia when you were Minister for Defence in Germany. If we are going to condemn, as we must, the war crimes of Putin, we must simultaneously condemn all war crimes against humanity, even when they are committed by people that the European Union perceives as allies like Israel or Saudi Arabia or those that arm and support them.